Hey, good morning, guys. Just looking at the 10-year this morning. This is the 10-year future. This is a daily chart. You can see I have some support drawn in here. We were back here in April. Things got a little bit kind of hairy because obviously this is the price, so the yield, the interest rate is inverse. So if price comes down, then yield goes up. So we just cracked above the 150 level, the 1.5% level. There's kind of a bit of talk online about it, so I figured I'd cover it. The S&P is down somewhat this morning. You can kind of see this. Just make it a little clearer. So we got this breakdown from this area that I have in blue here, and obviously it's bearish for the last few days. But I wouldn't say I'm super bearish on the 10-year, to be honest. I know a lot of people online seem to be. There are a couple reasons why. Usually this area kind of is the when you get a breakdown, basically you can get kind of the 100% extension of the range that you're breaking down from. So we're kind of hitting that right now. Now, that doesn't mean we can't go further down. We certainly can. But we are kind of hitting this. There will be, we're getting closer to this support level. So I'm kind of neutral on it. But yeah, we've got some short-term bearishness. If you trade the 10-year, I don't know how many people do, but if we pop back up to the bottom of this range, you could consider a short. So if the market rallies back up, I'm not expecting that to happen in one day, but I'm just saying if we did, you could consider a short here, but I wouldn't get crazy trying to short this. Personally, I wouldn't. I can see that it's bearish, but again, we're kind of getting close to the support level. It's kind of already done the 100%, so I mean it certainly could go lower, but just figured I'd touch on that. And then if you look over at the S&P, which if you look at the futures, that's the daily on that. So obviously it's been insanely bullish. Especially if you look at the weekly, it's just crazy. But that was COVID, the low, and then just insanity. So I don't see the government stopping spending money. Now, I'm not saying that that's a healthy thing, but the money flows into the market. And that's just the reality of it. So just looking at a 30-minute, you can see we broke down from this area. And this is the overnight. So, we have some levels of support, a little bit below here. So I would just be a little bit cautious trying to get long right off the open, unless, of course, there's some clear signs of reasons to be. But, this would be some resistance up here. Again, this is sort of similar to the 10-year where it broke down from this little range that I just showed on the 10-year chart. So that would be definitely a potential area for a short, but again, the overnight session's been bearish, but that doesn't mean that always translates into the day session. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's why, because we're not in the prediction game, because nobody can predict what the market's going to do. You really have to be watching the real-time signals, so you have to wait until the open to sort of see what sort of environment we're in. If you see the market ripping up and down and back and forth, with super high volume, we could get a big move one way or the other, and probably down. So, these are the areas, of course, that I'll be watching. Just have to make my disclaimer. It's not financial advice. But because I think a lot of this move is caused by the 10-year, kind of the chatter online about it, like I mentioned. If we see some down moves and it's not complete pandemonium, then I'll be considering some longs if we get to these types of areas. I mean, this would be a pretty big move down. Same with this, of course. But these are the kind of the shorter term areas of support. And then, you could kind of consider this to be the pre-market area of resistance. So kind of touching these lows too. So you've got the launching point here. You've got the touch of this that held. And then you've got the sort of highs here, sort of in the overnight. So, I mean, I would, this is resistance, and then, of course, we've got resistance up here too. But for now, just trading the day, we really need to just watch what's happening in real time. And, again, I covered this yesterday, but I just want to keep emphasizing, even if you're not trading the S&P, the spiders, or an index, the backdrop of the overall market is very important to know for your individual stocks, because no matter what, if the market's tanking or ripping higher, it's going to have an effect on your individual stock or small group of stocks. The only way it doesn't is if there's some sort of earnings number or some unique situation where there's a short squeeze or something like that's happening. So let's just be cautious of that. So that's why it's important to go over the overall market, in my opinion. And that's why it's important to kind of cover the 10-year too, because if it's driving it, because, the sentiment and the sort of the story of the day, whether it should or shouldn't, does affect the overall market. I mean, it sort of just snowballs, So anyway, keep your eye on the market, see what the overall market's doing, and you could pull up a chart of the Nasdaq too if you're trading Tesla or names like that. So it's going to be somewhat similar. In fact, let's look at that really quickly. It's pretty similar. It's not the exact same, but you can see this. It's got some support here, and some resistance up here. So sort of similar situation. We need to be aware of it, but it's specific to the stocks you're trading if you're trading individual stocks. Let's just be on the lookout and see where the Nasdaq and the S&P open up, and kind of judge the activity, and hopefully that can give us a little bit of edge trading our individual stocks on the day. Personally, I'll be watching Tesla. I guess I can bring that up really quickly. We had this big massive run up here, and then we're getting this pullback. I'm generally bullish. I mean, this top of this area here, this is where we broke out from. Now I know this is a little bit far away from where we're at. I mean, it's not a massive distance down, but getting back to here would be probably a very good long, because it's the top of this range that we broke out of. So that was kind of the breakout area. And then depending on how bullish you are, you can be looking for, potential support levels in here. I don't have time to go through them right now, but looking at that, and I'm bullish. I'm not looking to short Tesla. I never would short Tesla anyway, but I mean, just in general terms, I mean, I'm looking to potentially buy some calls, some out of the monies, hopefully using some of the weakness in the market to sort of get on board. So